Hi everybody, my name is Paula Muñoz and I'm going to talk about subordination. The main objective of this tutorial is to identify the different types of subordinate clauses. So, first of all, what is subordination? Subordination is the process of joining or linking two clauses in a sentence, where one of them is the dependent clause that we call our subordinate clause. So, this clause must begin with a subordinate conjunction or a relative pronoun. For example, I fished until the sun went down. Here we could identify the subordinate conjunction, which tells us that this is the subordinate clause. And for relative pronouns, this is the house where I lived. The relative pronouns where it introduces the subordinate clause. And we also need to keep in mind that these two elements link clauses in complex sentences. So now we will talk about the types of subordinate clauses. We are going to focus on two, noun clauses and relative clauses. And if you have already identified the subordinate clause, you can ask questions. And if this clause answers the question who or what, that means that we are facing a noun clause. But if the subordinate clause answers the question which or what type of, we are facing a relative clause. So now we are going to analyze some complex sentences in classic literature. We're going to use the book A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. This is our first paragraph with our first sentence. So we need to look for verbs. These are our verbs. And we ask for subjects. So who would like to scrutinize? A few. And who or what were breathed in hidden? The secrets. And the next step is to find the linking element, which in this case is the relative pronoun that, which introduces our subordinate clause, and we can ask questions. So, what type of secrets? The secrets that few would like to scrutinize. So that's tell us that this is a relative clause because it's modifying a noun. And we can also say that it's restrictive because it gives us essential information and the function is of an object. This is the second paragraph and we can find two sentences here. So this is the first one. We look for verbs. These are our finite verbs. And we ask for subjects. So who live in chambers? He live in chambers. And who or what belong to his partner? The chambers. And we look for the linking element, which. So we can ask the question, which type of chambers? That means that this subordinate clause is a relative or adjective clause because it's modifying a noun. And also it is a restrictive clause and the function is of a subject in the clause. This is the next sentence. So we look for the finite verbs and we ask for subjects. So who or what was so dark? The yard. And who or what knew? We have the subject here in the same clause. And who or what was fain to work with his hands? Is Scrooge. The linking element is who, and and it introduces us to the subordinate clause, and we can ask the proper question. So, what type of a Scrooge? What kind of a Scrooge? The one who knew it's every stone. So this is a relative clause because it can answer the question, what type of? And it's non-restrictive because it doesn't give us essential information and the function is of a subject of the clause. This is the next paragraph with the sentence in isolation, and we look for verbs. Made and brought. So who made bold? He made bold. Who or what brought him there? The business brought him there. The linking element is what. This is a subordinate conjunction. So we know that this is a noun clause. And we can also ask the question to inquire what. To inquire what business brought him there. So it's not modifying any noun, it's acting as one itself. And the function is of an object of a verb. This is the next paragraph with the sentence, and the first step is to look for finite verbs. So promise and walk. And we ask the question, who promised? I promise. Who will walk? Who walk? I walk. And the linking element is that. So we ask the question, what did I promise? I promised that I will walk there on Sunday. This is our this is a subordinate clause, and we know that it's a noun clause because it answers the question, what did I promise? And the function is of a complement. And this is the last sentence, the last paragraph. And we know that the first step is verbs. And we ask for its subject. So who know, who do, you. Have sold the price, who have sold the price, they. And the linking element is whether. So whether introduces our subordinate clause, and we ask the question, what do you know? They have sold the price turkey, so this is a noun clause because it can answer the question, what? And we can also realize that the function is of an object. Now, to summarize all this explosion of information, we are going to look for the steps for the analysis. So the first step is to look for finite verbs. The second step is to find the corresponding subjects, and we can ask how many clauses do we have and if we are facing a complex sentence. In that case, we look for the linking elements and we ask the questions to identify the type of subordinate clause. We need to remember the questions, who or what for noun clauses, and what kind of or which for relative clauses. To finish with relative clauses, we need to know if it's essential information or not, and its function. And the same for noun clauses, the final step is to know the function. So thank you so much for watching. Hope you learned something new today, and bye.